So speaking of good questions, did anyone ever ask you about leadership and the burden that it would provide? Did they ask you if you wanted that? Because leadership is a privilege, 100%, but it's also a really big responsibility. And I actually know for a fact you are either experiencing a lack of growth or an overabundance of conflict, and it's your fault. You're the problem, but that's okay because we can fix it. And I'm here to tell you that we can celebrate the privilege. We can take on the responsibility and we can reframe the burden, because becoming a great leader is 100% within your control when you can say it out loud. I am the problem. But leadership is about so much more than you. It's about your team, your coworkers, your boss, and the office printer that's somehow always broken, and it's your responsibility to fix. But you can become a great leader by doing these 3 things. Work on your self-awareness, work on your executive presence, and work on your adaptive integrity. If you can master those things, your team will actually show up for your meetings as opposed to claiming they have a dentist appointment. So, first step, self-awareness, because you can't do it alone, especially if you think that you can. Self-awareness is about recognizing both your weaknesses and your strengths. It's about knowing your impact both positively and negatively. And your leadership, it's not happening in a vacuum. Your team sees it, what you're doing and what they're doing. It's a reaction to you. So if they are disengaged and unmotivated, turn the mirror around and say, how am I contributing to this problem? Take a deep breath. Because self-awareness, you will never be fully self-aware, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's actually a really good thing. It means that you can take your time, learn the lessons, create an atmosphere of growth for yourself. I promise you, it will come, lesson by lesson. Self-awareness is great, but if you can have all the self-confidence in the world, if your team doesn't trust you, it doesn't matter. So executive presence is, how do you show up? How do you communicate? And how do you make people feel? Because we've all taken a million personality assessments. Most of mine are a cross between aggressive and pushy. But it's not about what does your personality assessment say about you, it's how do you translate it into how you work with other people. Because your team, just like your children, they follow everything that you do. And they're following you whether you realize it or not. So it's not just about talking the talk, it's walking the walk, whether you realize someone's watching or not. So if what we need to do is focus on our executive presence, because it's not just about us. What I need you to do is ask yourself, are you authentic? Are you vulnerable? Are you showing up authentically with vulnerability on a consistent basis? And are you building trust with those around you? All of that's great, but if I hear one more person say, but that's the way it's always been done, as an excuse not to change, I'm gonna lose it, and you're gonna fail if you can't adapt. 74% of employees say that they are more effective if their leadership is flexible. So if you're refusing to pivot, you're not only frustrating your team, you're making your job a whole hell of a lot harder than it needs to be. I'm not telling you to go back to the office and change everything. You would really piss your team off. It's not about cutting the couch in half and starting over. If you don't understand that reference, we can't be friends, pun intended, okay? Adaptive integrity just means that you're holding tight to the things that mean something to you, that make you a good leader, one that you can be proud of. Your principles, your integrity, your values, your ownership, or the accountability and the trust you have in yourself and your team. Adaptive integrity, it's not about letting go of all your beliefs, it's just making sure that they still make sense. Because change is hard. Everyone will tell you that. So get your team together and ask yourself a few questions. What has already changed? What still matters? And what's the goal? So this framework has created great leaders in organizations just like yours. So if you want to lead with confidence, I want you to understand your impact through self-awareness. I want you to inspire trust with your executive presence. And I want you to evolve with the industry through your adaptive integrity. Now, I can stand right here on this nice little spot and tell you all this, and you'd be thinking, it's a lot easier said than done. And you're right, it is. But that's why it so often gets left undone. So I need you to recognize that leadership is a privilege, but it's also a really big responsibility, and you get to decide what to do with it. Don't take it for granted, because leadership isn't about control. Leadership is about influence, and influence starts with you. So you might be part of the problem, you might be the problem, but you are also a really big part of the solution. So lead yourself well, the rest will follow. Thank you.